Yeah, I'd say that kind of happened to me and Bella when we were trying to qualify for state. It was like the final day, and you actually got like 2 chances. We had done it where we went into the consolation bracket because we had lost to the number 1 seed earlier in the week. Now it was later in the week, and it's starting to get like you're getting really close. You're either gonna make it or you're not gonna make it. And we had to play a school where we almost went to 2 tiebreakers, but we lost. And we were going to play 15 minutes later to see, and that one determined whether we went to state or not. And I remember we had to kind of think about how are we going to handle this, you know? It was our choice, not anybody else's choice. People could say like, how are you going to handle this is like how you are going to bring and what you're going to learn from this and how you're going to change going to this next match will determine what happens, but it's your choice. And I feel like we got a lot of great mentorship from a lot of coaches and stuff, but then we had to make the choice and we decided we're going to put it all in. So I think we just surprised the school that we played because we beat them in the first set 6-2, and then they kind of woke up and it was like, oh, it's season, and then we won the next one 7-5. But I think that would never have happened had we not like readjusted and realized this is a new game and we're gonna walk out with confidence and we're gonna win this thing.
Hello everyone, we are Greg and Jackie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the studio. My name is Chrissy and I'm in here with my amazing sisters, Abby and Bella, along with our awesome mom. And we have some amazing conversations in store for you guys about some of the victories that we've been having in sports with our family the last couple weeks and the lessons we've learned through them. So we're super excited to talk to you guys.
Yeah, so we kind of want to hit on, as you guys know, in our family, we do sports, and more sports. And we just came off of tennis, and we just finished districts and state. So real quick, I want the girls to step in today because they did amazing at both districts and state, and talk a little bit about the mindset and how they worked on themselves mentally, emotionally, physically to really be in it to win it, even if on the court they weren't winning. And so one of the things I wanted them to hit on is number one, districts was 3 weeks ago. So for those of you that don't know, we're at a competitive 6A school. My girls are on the varsity tennis team. Just because you're on the team doesn't mean you get to play. You have to prove it every single week at practice and at the matches that you play. But my 3 girls got asked to be on districts, which is a big reward because if you get asked to play for districts, you have the opportunity to qualify for state. If you don't play for districts, you don't even get the chance to play for state, and that can be the end of your tennis year. And so all 3 of my girls got invited on to districts and therefore had the opportunity to qualify for state. For us, districts is 1 week long qualifications. The girls go every day at 4 o'clock, and many times they don't get off the court till it's almost dark. And then on top of that, many times some of these matches can last 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, and some of them are really long.
And usually if you don't win right away, you have to play 2 a day. Mm-hmm. And so, the girls had quite a bit. They're battling through the emotions of wanting to win, but even the physicality of sometimes your body's starting to get a little tired, or maybe something's starting to hurt a little bit. And you've been pushing your ankles, your back, your wrists more than normal, or your neck. And so real quick, I want the girls to hit on a couple things here that maybe surprise them as being first time at districts and how they stayed in it to win it throughout the week.
Something also I feel like is something me and Abby specifically had to learn is how to be able to just be really forgiving and play together as siblings.
Doubles. Yeah. Well, Abby and Bella played as doubles partners. Mm-hmm. Chrissy played as a single, just to clarify.
Right. And so I feel like this districts week was a good test for that, and it really helped us develop how to stay patient while we're being really competitive and just processing all the emotions with each other together, because we would sleep in the same room and then we would go drive in the same car and then we'd go play matches together, and it was just in those moments that it was tough. You don't know why you're losing, or you're just not playing as well as you thought, it's easy to get mad at the other person. And so I feel like districts was a good test for that, and we worked through a lot of stuff then.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the biggest things was sometimes it is a little bit harder playing with your sibling just because you're around them so much. But I think our family does a great balance of how to like properly encourage each other, properly like go through when we are actually a little mad at each other, like not taking that out on the court, you know, like trying just to be encouraging like you were like with another partner. You wouldn't be starting to shout at them and yell at them and tell them this is why it's not working. You would just figure it out together of how you two can work together. And I feel like me and Bella worked really hard on that during the whole like districts week, state, everything, and we really made a lot of progress together as siblings, but also together on the court.
I feel like this whole district's week was super impactful for all of us because it was all of our first time playing on the district's team. And what's cool about districts is that you are competing for either an individual district's title, also a team district's title for boys side and girls side separately, and then also to get in the top 10 to qualify for state. And so, like Mom said, I was playing singles, and there's 40 girls competing for singles. And so you have to go through this bracket, which is why you have to play so many matches in order to get in the top 10. So, and then Abby and Bella, they played doubles, and there was like 25, 30 teams playing, and you still have to get in the top 10. So it's super intense. You can't lose more than 2 matches. And if you end up losing your very first match of the week, you have to play at least 2 matches every single day, and you have to win 5 of them. You have to win 5 in a row in order to qualify. And so there's no room for error after you lose your first match. And that's a situation that I found myself in. I ended up playing one of the best girls from one of the best schools out there, probably the best school other than us. And that was my first round match. So it was really tough having to get that draw. But even though I lost on the court that day, I had to go on again 30 minutes later. And so I had to reel in my mindset and remember things to help me win, even though I was disappointed off of this loss. I had to play again that very night. And so one of my coaches told me, one of the biggest things you need to do is walk on that court with the confidence of someone who belongs there. You can't go into this one expecting to lose, because after you lose 2, you're out of districts and you can't qualify for state. You can't go into this one expecting to lose or being afraid to lose. You have to walk into the court knowing you belong there, knowing they're just as afraid of as you are, and keeping your mindset correct. And that really made a big difference for me, because when I walked in there knowing I belonged and knowing that I can carry this confidence and knowing that I deserve this spot and deserve to be here, it totally affected my playing. So I ended up going to a tiebreaker during that match because she was another really good tennis player. And I ended up winning, just being able to walk on with this mindset. And I feel like that was the biggest mindset that carried me throughout the rest of the week, and it made a huge difference in my playing.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, is that you have to be able to shift your mind quickly from a situation that might not have been going the way you wanted. You know, you lost your first one, and it was against a girl that was very good. You know, it wasn't that, you know, she got lucky or anything like that. She was very good. And to say, okay, I'm going to get on and win the next one, though. And I think that's kind of how life needs to be sometimes. You know, like curveballs come. You know, you expect to walk on the court and at least give it a good run and be a little closer than you thought sometimes. And then you get off and you're like, I did not win that. Like, that was a loss for me. And to own it for a minute and then say, but what am I going to do next? And sometimes next is literally 20 minutes later, you know? And that's how life hits you sometimes, I would say, you know?
Yeah, I'd say that kind of happened to me and Bella when we were trying to qualify for state. It was like the final day, and you actually got like 2 chances. We had done it where we went into the consolation bracket because we had lost to the number 1 seed earlier in the week. Now it was later in the week, and it's starting to get like, you're getting really close. You're either going to make it or you're not going to make it. And we had to play a school where we almost went to 2 tiebreakers, but we lost. And we were going to play 15 minutes later to see. And that one determined whether we went to state or not. And I remember we had to kind of think about how are we going to handle this, you know? It was our choice, not anybody else's choice. People could say, like, how are you going to handle this is like how you are going to bring and what you're going to learn from this and how you're going to change going to this next match will determine what happens, but it's your choice. And I feel like we got a lot of great mentorship from a lot of coaches and stuff, but then we had to make the choice and we decided we're going to put it all in. So I think we just surprised the school that we played because we beat them in the first set 6-2, and then they kind of woke up and it was like, oh, it's season. And then we won the next one 7-5. But I think that would never have happened had we not like readjusted and realized this is a new game, and we're going to walk out with the confidence, and we're going to win this thing. So I feel like it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just like we had to be really mentally strong because the people we lost to in 2-set tiebreakers, it took a long time, and it was a hard loss because we expected to be able to win it. Not that we should have won it or whatever. We were both very good teams, and it was a hard match. But to lose in 2-set tiebreakers, that was hard. And then to have 15 minutes before we go on again against people who beat us during the regular season, that was just kind of scary because it was like you either win this and you're going to state or your season's done right here. So it's kind of like to have that mental shift of we're going to just try our best right here, and just like the results are what they are, but we have to give everything we can right now.
Now, how do you guys think you shifted each night? Okay, so you walked off the court each day, fatigued, body aches, hungry, imagine, you're sweating it all out on the court. And so you're trying to eat something in between, but your stomach's upset because you're nervous about the next match. You know what I mean? And, it's hot out on those courts. And on top of that, you're starting to get a few aches and pains. I mean, like anybody that runs a marathon or anybody that plays, any sport for a long amount of time, your body just starts hurting after a little bit. So, by day 2 and 3, you guys have a choice to be like, I got far enough. It is what it is, but how did you reset your mind each night to prepare? Because the next day did matter.
Absolutely. I feel like that is huge, the way that we recovered, not only in between points, in between matches, but in between days and nights, right? So everybody's walking into the end of the season a little bit hurt. Everyone's got a little thing that's bothering them, whether it's an ankle or an arm or a shoulder. Everyone's got muscle tape and everything on. Everyone's kind of trying to piece themselves together by the end of the season. But I think it's the way that you walk off court, doing everything you can to recover even in that short amount of time, and not let it give you excuses, right? And so I would walk off court every night. I'd come home, I'd clean up, I would do a bunch of stretching and rolling out and doing everything I can to prepare my body physically, but also I would start eating as much as I can, also hydrating, but also just mentally preparing and letting my mind release from it for a minute, right? Like when I came home at night, I needed to give myself a mental break and not allow the stress to continue into the night and then continue into the next day and then continue, right? I needed to let myself have a mental break. And so I would do things that would distract me, whether it's, create some of my little clips and earrings that brought me some joy, or work on any of the other things. But I feel like mentally and physically preparing your body for the next day made such a huge difference in recovery, in the way that you can walk into the next match ready.
I feel like another thing one of our coaches told us is you gotta mentally envision you winning the game, you winning the points, it getting set up, and you are able to win that, not losing. Just how you talk about how you gotta see it in your mind before it actually happens. It's it actually really works. It's you gotta see the victory ahead of time. And I feel like that's what one thing that really helps is when you can actually do that, whether it's in bed and you're just about to go to sleep and you can start thinking about that. Think about the points that you're winning, not the things that might have not worked the other day, but what's going to happen tomorrow and how you're winning those points. So I feel like that's another thing that one of our coaches really told us, and I think it really helped a lot. As you went into each day, you could just have this new freshness, oh, I'm going to win this, I got these points. I can see it right now. So
yeah, I think that was really important. And I think coming home, eating a good homemade meal, and then stretching or showering, and then going to bed right away really helped us just kind of have our bodies have a reset. And then also not dwelling on the mistakes of the day, because our whole family would kind of just talk over the day, be able to be like, oh, so I know who I'm playing tomorrow. We played them during the season. They were like this. We wanted a tiebreak or whatever. We know it's going to be a battle. And so being able to just kind of talk it out with everybody, and then also not dwell on the mistakes of the day, but on the things we did well and the strategy we're going to take. And so I think just dwelling on the good parts of the day while also giving your body a lot of time to recover. We'd go to bed early so that our bodies are recovering, and so I feel like that was really big. And then we also cold plunged in the morning, which really helped.
That's good. Okay, we'll do a part 2 of this because we didn't even get to state yet. So part 2 is coming.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.